Struggling to qualify up front on iRacing? This is a series where I go through every dirt oval track with the dirt street stock and show you how to qualify in the pole position. The best way to increase your safety rating and your iRating is to start in the front and stay in the front until the checkered flag drops. When it comes to the fixed setup races, the only inputs that really change how quick a driver gets around the track is the steering input, the throttle input, and the line that you take to get there. For this example, we're going to use a fresh, tacky track with lots of moisture in it. And the reason that I chose this is because, especially in the rookie class and even sometimes in the C-class races, when it comes to the qualifying time, the tracks are usually pretty tacky at that point, between like 0 and 15% for the most part. Let's jump in the car and get going. The first tip, and this goes for just about every track with the dirt street stock, is to change your steering ratio from a 6-to-1 down to a 4-to-1. Almost every new iRacer just leaves the fixed setups at their default settings and they leave it at the 6-to-1. But I can tell you, if you want to be quick, you need to get used to the 4-to-1 ratio. That's where you're going to pick up quite a bit of speed. A lot of folks come out of the pit and they treat their out lap as if it was just another lap, and they run their typical race line. But for this, on the qualifying, you need to actually utilize that out lap to give you the most speed and momentum to cross the start-finish line as you possibly can. As you leave the pit, get the car into 4th gear quickly. You don't need to accelerate through the gears, you can just throw it into 4th and go. Get to the top side of the track, and going down the backstretch, you enter the corner high. Don't try to cut the corner and go down on the low side. Enter the corner really high. And then about halfway through it, give your throttle just a little blip so that you can get your car pointed downhill and then get right back in the gas. Try not to oversteer the car or you'll scrub too much speed, and use the gravity of the hill coming down and the acceleration while keeping your car as straight as possible, pointing towards the flag stand. Make sure you use up all of the track. Get your passenger door as close as you can to the wall just before the flag stand and keep it straight. This will maximize your speed and momentum crossing the start line as that first timer starts. It's very important to maximize your speed on this first lap. Even 2 miles an hour faster going into turn 1 can shave off that last 10th or 100th of a second off your time. The qualifying lap. Remember, you're at 100% throttle. Don't ever lift through this process. Turns 1 and 2, as you cross the start-finish line, start applying gentle left-hand pressure into the wheel. You don't need to throw it in there. As the infield begins to come into view and you descend down the track into the corner, you should feel the car want to start to break over. Let it break over and apply gentle counter steer, just keeping the car as straight as possible and your left front tire on the edge of the grass. Just beware of the infield tractor tires. Just past the apex of the corner, you should straighten the car out completely and head straight to the backstretch wall, aiming for a point about 1/4 of the way down. You'll see the infield start to disappear off to the left as the angle of the wall in front of you gets tighter. Gently apply left-hand pressure again to get the car flush with the wall. Turns 3 and 4. You want a slightly later turn-in point so you can get the car straight while you're in the corner for a faster exit speed. Just as the backstretch wall turns yellow, turn the car in aggressively and float down the hill. Aim your front left tire for the center tractor tire. Hug the infield until about 3/4 of the way through the turn and then straighten out for the wall again, aiming to be flush with the wall at the flag stand. If you happen to hold it down the track a little more than you'd like, you don't have to come all the way out to the wall. You can hold mid as long as your wheels are aligned and you're getting good drive off the corner. The second lap of your qualifying session is kind of a burner lap, so don't worry about it too much. If you set up for your first lap appropriately, it will be nearly impossible to get a faster time on your second one because your speed to start the lap should be slower. There are only 2 reasons to stress about this second lap. 1, you know you oversteered and scrubbed too much speed in turn 1 or 2 of lap 1. Or B, you tapped the wall and you got a 0x incident point, which renders that time useless. If you screwed up 3 and 4 on the first lap, you're toast. Keep in mind this example is for a tacky track. If you get into a server where the track state starts with some slick spots, it's generally best to keep your right rear just above the slick to grip the moisture and carry more momentum through the corner. I'll be adding more qualifying tips in the future and adding track states to show the best lines. And as always, each server is slightly different depending on the time of day, weather, track state, and car count. If you practice this technique and use the 4-to-1 ratio, utilize your outlap properly, your starting position should improve dramatically until you're in strength of field races of about 2,500 or more. At that point, the difference in qualifying times are reduced to tenths of a second, and positions are dictated more by mistakes made by opposing drivers than choosing the wrong line. Don't subscribe to my channel yet. Go out, try these tips. If they work for you, come back and see the rest of the library. Then you can hit the subscribe button. I hope this helps. We'll see you on the track.